Hi James. So, how long have you been teaching fully online now?
So fully online, about a year and a half now. I did a little bit of teaching online before that, but no, a year and a half, really.
And based on that experience, what has been the best thing about teaching online for you?
I would say the ease with which you can monitor students online. So I find it easier to really tap into students' linguistic strengths and weaknesses. Maybe because the face-to-face classroom can be quite loud, it can even be difficult to get around to every individual in the face-to-face classroom in time if you have a large class. Whereas I find that process much easier online. It's much easier to kind of monitor individuals and really tap into their strengths and weaknesses.
What's your favorite thing to do in the online classroom that would be harder to do in a face-to-face classroom?
For me, that's, I think, focusing on collaborative writing. So when students produce pieces of writing in small groups or in pairs, I find that easier in the online classroom. I find it easier to give immediate correction on their writing, and also for students to share their work with each other and for students to be able to comment on each other's written work. I think the nice thing about doing it online is that there's a neat record in one place that students can take away from lessons without having lots of different pieces of paper that they then have to organise, as is often the case after face-to-face lessons with group writing.
In which ways would you say your teaching has developed as a result of the move online?
I think that's relatively simple, really. I think I've expanded the range of technologies that I use when teaching online. And I think I've learned to integrate them into lessons in a more principled way. Maybe before I would use them partly to introduce variety into a lesson, whereas now I think I use them in a more principled way, thinking more about the rationale in terms of learning behind the technologies.
How do you view the future of ELT in terms of online versus face-to-face teaching?
Okay, well I think both forms will continue, face-to-face teaching and online teaching. But I think online teaching will become more and more prevalent really with the way that society is changing in general. So I think for students, they will have more flexibility in terms of where they study, who they study with and when they study. And teachers, I think, will need to be prepared in terms of employment to deliver both face-to-face and online lessons. So they will really need to be competent in both of those.